Folks, welcome. Give us just another minute or so. We're working on getting our broadcast set up, but we're so excited you're here and we'll be starting momentarily. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We're so excited that you're here to join us for our online information session for College Park Scholars. We're joined by many hundreds of you here on Zoom and I think on YouTube too, hopefully. And we're just really grateful to be in virtual community with all of you. I want to start by saying congratulations to the admitted students on the call. We are really excited for you, and we know that this is just a really fun journey as you embark on this college search process. And so we are grateful to be a part of that. So our goal tonight is to help you all gain a better understanding of what College Park Scholars is. And so you'll be hearing from our staff and more importantly, from some of our amazing students who will share their experiences with you. So just a heads up, some logistical things here. We are recording this, so if you want to go back and watch that recording later, it will be on our YouTube channel next week. And if folks are not able to be here tonight, tell them don't worry, they can watch it there as well. A couple other things, you should see on your Zoom toolbar a Q&A button. That is something that you can go to as you're watching the presentation. If questions arise, definitely feel free to drop your questions there. And we'll actually have some folks from the Scholar staff who can type out responses to you. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to do that because we want to make sure that you get your questions answered. I see some raised hands and things like that. So if folks are experiencing any technical issues, I think there's also a chat feature. So feel free to just shoot us a chat if sort of on the tech end of things, you're not seeing things or hearing things the way that you're supposed to. Um, I think other than that, I'm going to go ahead and keep us moving. So before I go too far, I should introduce myself. My name is Ben Beltran, he, him pronouns, and I am the Assistant Director for Admissions, Recruitment, and Transition with College Park Scholars. And I am joined tonight by our Executive Director, Dr. Mary Lee Lindeman, who's going to kick us off now with some remarks.
All right, thank you, Ben. And hello, everybody. I am so excited to meet you virtually and to welcome you as future Terps and I hope as future scholars. Really looking forward to spending some time with you this evening and answering questions that I'm sure you have about this mysterious entity known as College Park Scholars, right? But the first thing I want to do is echo Ben's congratulations to you on being admitted to the University of Maryland and invited into Scholars in an exceptionally competitive year. Our friends down in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions report that Maryland received a historically large number of applications for freshman admissions this year, and that they selected an exceptionally talented, diverse, and dynamic group of students. So well done. We are really proud of you and excited by the possibility of working with you here in the fall. And I want you to know that we are here to help in any way that we can as you make your way through the decision-making process. I know it's very high stakes and nerve-wracking for students and for families, but we have a wonderful team of people here to help you out, including our students, who I always think of as our best advocates and explainers when it comes to helping prospective students understand what Scholars is and how it can enhance your undergraduate experience. So I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but I want to sort of put on the table 3 questions that I imagine are in your heads right now, and that I know our other panelists tonight are also going to be coming at from their own perspectives. So those 3 questions are: what is College Park Scholars? Secondly, why were you invited into it? And thirdly, what will you get out of it if you accept our invitation and join us here in Scholars in the fall? So first, I'm going to offer you a fairly short answer to the question of what is College Park Scholars. And this is kind of the dictionary definition, if you will. It's a group of living learning programs for academically talented first and second year students who are selected as part of the university's admissions process. So that leads directly into the second question of why were you invited? Well, we work with our partners in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions to identify students with strengths in 3 particular areas that are really important to scholars and the kind of experience that we want to offer to our students. The first one, obviously, and we've already touched on that, is evidence of academic success and academic potential. You've all demonstrated that you have really amazing skill as students and incredible promise as students. We think you're going to do well in college, and we'd like you to be a part of our community. The second thing, though, and this is really as important, I think, as the first one, in Scholars, we look for students who demonstrate a broad range of interests. We like to see students who are intellectually curious about all kinds of things. And that's in part because all of the 13 Scholars programs, and I hope you've had a chance to begin exploring the different programs on our website, all of them are interdisciplinary in nature. They're not necessarily tied to particular majors, even though they are sponsored by departments and academic colleges, but they're not tied to particular majors. They're all interested in looking at big questions from a broad variety of perspectives in order to solve complicated problems, right? So one way to think about Scholars is as an opportunity to think outside the box of the major and to build connections with students in different fields and with different kinds of interests. So I'd encourage you, as you're exploring our programs, to look at those that might not have a direct connection to your major. A lot of our students, they pursue things that are adjacent to or complementary to their major. And in a lot of cases, they go into programs that are, very, very remote from the focus of their major. We love engineers who, I don't know, played the cello in the orchestra in high school, and so end up in our arts program because they're interested in keeping that, having an outlet for that kind of interest, right? So broad range of academic interests and intellectual interests is important to us as we look for prospective students. A third thing that we look for, which is also very, very important to our programs and to our community, is investment in a diverse and caring community. I imagine you will hear from our students that community is a big part of what College Park Scholars offers to its students. So we really love to bring in students who represent a diversity of ideas, of experiences, of background, of every aspect of difference. and bring them in for a very vibrant living learning experience. You're all going to live together in the same cluster of residence halls, take courses together. We have place a strong emphasis on community service and community engagement. So we want students who are going to be eager to involve themselves in all of the opportunities that Scholars has. So that, I hope, gives you some sense of why you might have been invited into the program, and a little bit of sense of what you can get out of it. But let me go a little bit deeper into what I hope you'll get out of Scholars, and imagine you'll get out of Scholars, if you join us. First, and a very important thing that you'll get out of Scholars is what I think of as a soft place to land on our very, very large university campus. And what part of what goes along with that is that you will get a lot of people, like the folks here on the screen this evening, a lot of people who will be eager to help you navigate the size and complexity of the campus. I recognize it can be a daunting place, a big public university like the University of Maryland. It's really helpful to have a chance to develop close relationships with your peers, with your faculty, with program staffs, who are going to be interested in and dedicated to your success. You will find support and mentorship, people who will help connect you to important opportunities like internships, and other things. And that kind of support and mentoring can be somewhat difficult to come by in your first couple of years in college. So if you come to Scholars, you will have that sort of head start on developing important relationships with people. Another thing that you will get out of College Park Scholars is what we describe as a sustained orientation to the university and to what it means to learn as a college student, right? College is different from high school. You're all smart, you're all well prepared, but you will still encounter challenges when you get to a university campus, and Scholars can help you navigate some of those challenges, I think. And a final thing that I think you would get out of College Park Scholars is developing the opportunity to develop an intentional and very coherent path through your first couple of years on campus. Hopefully you won't just find yourself checking off boxes to fulfill your general education requirements. Scholars can help you fit all of those pieces, which are very disparate and varied in a lot of those classes that you take in the first couple of years. Scholars can help you fit those pieces together in a more clear and coherent kind of way. Okay, so I think that's some of what you will get out of College Park Scholars if you come to us. The longer, more subjective answer to what Scholars is, I'm an English professor by training, so forgive me for indulging in a few adjectives for a moment. But I think of Scholars as a rare, vibrant, wonderful, challenging, nurturing, diverse, and engaging place. I think it's important to know that Scholars was designed back in the early 1990s to educate and engage the whole person. We're interested in the head as well as the heart. We are interested in supporting students, cultivating their abilities, not just in scholarship, but also in leadership, in learning and in citizenship, in academic achievement, but also in living well with others. So I hope that over the next few weeks, as you explore more deeply and ask more questions, you will come to agree that Scholars is an experience and a community that you would like to join. I want to end by sharing what I think of as my all-time favorite comment from a Scholars student evaluation. And it was written in the spring of 2020, that crazy spring that was disrupted by the pandemic. And a student wrote in their final program evaluation, and I quote, "I always know that Scholars has my back." That really is the long and the short of it. We in Scholars are present, we are available, we are proud and happy to support our students in any way that we can, So we look forward to working with all of you as you make your way through the journey of your college decision. We hope that you'll choose Maryland. We hope that you'll choose scholars, and we hope to see you here in the Cambridge community in the fall. So don't hesitate to reach out with any questions that you have as you consider your options. So thanks again for coming. And Ben, I'm going to throw it back to you.
All right, thanks, Mary Lee. I'm gonna jump us right back into the slide deck. All right, so Dr. Lindeman shared some great information there about College Park Scholars. Hopefully, it got y'all excited. I'm going to dive a little bit into some of the nuts and bolts and hopefully address some of the questions that I see coming into the Q&A box, which we love. So a little bit about College Park Scholars, a little bit more. 2-year living learning experience, and it's specifically for first and second year students. So we're looking at that, the beginning of your time here at University of Maryland. I want to talk about some things that I think set us apart, and some of these Dr. Lindemann touched on. The interdisciplinary approach is really big for us, and so I'm seeing some questions about how does this relate to my major? The short of it is that it doesn't have to, right? So we have 13 different interdisciplinary programs that don't necessarily align with any one academic major. And so this is a great opportunity for you to take sort of an interdisciplinary approach, look at things from different perspectives in a way that we think could be really enriching for your educational experience. We believe that learning happens not just inside the classroom, but also outside the classroom. And so we've got some really great hands-on learning experiences through internships, service learning, research, study abroad, and local excursions. And so definitely a very holistic experience when you come to campus and join College Park Scholars. And the other thing I want to mention, community is super important for us. So, it's a big campus. We do want to cultivate that sense of community, and we do that by putting you in these programs, and you'll get some good face time with some peers who you'll see in your scholars courses every semester. You'll also have those co-curricular experiences, and so you'll be surrounded by those familiar faces. And we really try to do that right from the beginning as soon as you get here, because we know that that can be kind of a scary time when you arrive to campus. And so as soon as you move in, we have some great programs to welcome you, such as Service Day, Scholars Under the Lights, and we provide those opportunities throughout the academic year and conclude at the end of the year with our academic showcase. So those are just a few of our really cool scholars traditions that help to cultivate that sense of community. As far as the number of students in each of our programs, 70 to 90 is usually where we fall. That's small enough that you will get to meet your peers. It's also small enough that your faculty will get to know you, which is a really great thing. I'm seeing lots of questions about housing, and so we are a living learning program. The living piece is essential. Students in College Park Scholars live in the Cambridge community, which is up on North Campus. That's where most first-year students live. Cambridge Community has 5 residence halls, and they're sort of clustered around an academic building called the Cambridge Community Center, and that's actually where many of our classes are held. So that physical space for us is actually really key because you're going to be able to live there, you're going to learn there, and it should hopefully feel like this is my little pocket of campus, it's my home. And the last thing I'll mention, our faculty are amazing. They're a great resource for all of you. And the really cool thing is that their offices are actually located in the residence halls where you'll be living inside the Cambridge community. So thinking about access to faculty, like this is as good as it gets, right? You can drop in with questions and they are more than happy to serve as resources to each and every one of you. Okay, so I mentioned the 13 themed interdisciplinary programs. What I'm going to do now is give a really brief overview of all these programs. What I'll say is that I could spend the whole webinar talking about all of them. And really what I encourage you to do is to, after this, log on to our website. We have a whole programs tab that has a web page for each of these programs. And you can learn more there. You can see required courses, all that good stuff. But my hope tonight is to get you thinking about which of these programs are interesting to you, because I want you to be able to start to think about filling out that program preference form, which you hopefully got some emails about. And I'll circle back to that at the end, because that is one of our big action pieces for you all, is to fill out that program preference form. So to get you thinking about that, let's talk about the 13 programs. We've got a couple of really great options here for folks who have an interest in leadership and service. Public leadership is a program where students get to develop leadership skills, and you can apply those skills really in any field. So it's a really good enhancement to any major, even majors that you might not think of, STEM majors, things like that. This is a great opportunity. And then we have civic engagement for social good, which is a great option for folks who have a real commitment to engaging with community to enact change. And if you're someone who maybe did a lot of service in high school, if that's something that you're passionate about, this is a great opportunity, because in civic engagement for social good, there are some really cool service opportunities that they engage in during those 2 years. So really good options here for leadership and service if those are things that you're passionate about. Okay, so now we got some programs for the folks who really want to do a deep dive into science, which I know we got a lot of folks at the university with that interest area. Both of these programs are an opportunity to reflect on what science is. With science and global change, you're looking mainly at climate change, right? So you will spend some time looking at the science behind that, and then also thinking about the implications, right? What does that mean for our world, for our society? And then maybe you're someone who's more interested in the life sciences. And so we've got a program for that. And that's a really cool option to explore all types of topics, from genetics and medical testing to human diversity and ancestry. So definitely some really good options if you're someone who is just really into the sciences. These are some to consider. So we know that students who are invited scholars are almost always interested in advancing a just world, and that's a big part of who we are. These three programs in particular, I think, really emphasize that. So students who are in international studies are looking at issues that impact the world, and kind of thinking about that. And also, while they're in the program, they're doing some really great work here in our local community, which I think is really cool. So doing some work with refugees here in Prince George's County. Um, Similarly, we have global public health, focusing specifically on health equity issues across the globe and interventions for public health issues. And you don't have to be someone who, has a major in public health or has an interest in going into the medical realm. This could really be a great program for just about anyone. And then justice and legal thought, uh, pretty straightforward. If you're someone that's interested in the legal system and thinking about inequities in our justice system, this is definitely something that you should think about. And I'll continue to emphasize this. This might be one that you look at and think, oh, I'm not pre-law, maybe this isn't for me. Nope, like this is definitely a program that could be of interest to lots of folks, and we encourage you to give it a look. All right. More science options. These ones are leaning a little bit more toward technology and the social implications of technology. So environment, technology, and economy, ETE, is really looking at sustainability from an environmental, social and economic perspective. And so this is one of our programs that I think actually really highlights that interdisciplinary nature really well. Similarly, we have data justice, where students will apply a critical lens to technology and consider how information can be used for social good. So if you're someone that's interested in data and maybe you haven't quite thought about, oh, what does all of this mean? Definitely a really cool option for you. And then we have SES, Science, Technology, and Society. Um, Really similar in the sense that you're exploring the socially responsible application of science and technology. And so less of the, learning how to build things and engineering, and more of the, what does this mean for our world, right? More of that social context. And so I want to highlight that with these three, there's definitely some science, right? It's kind of baked into the titles, but you're more so looking at the broader social context. So if that's something that you haven't thought about that intrigues you, definitely think about these programs. All right, and these are actually our final three programs, and so I guess the theme tying these together is creativity, innovation, and making. So if those are words that resonate with you, I would invite you to take a look. In the arts program, students are exploring the impact of art, what art is, and you'll get some great experience doing some hands-on art stuff, but you don't have to be a skilled artist to be a part of this program. Uh, Similarly, for media, self, and society, you don't have to be a journalist or even a journalism major, but it is a program where you're looking at the media and you're looking at specifically media literacy and sort of where folks get information from. And there's actually some really great opportunities there for some hands-on experiences with digital storytelling. And then the last one, Business Society and the Economy, BSE. For folks who have an interest in entrepreneurship, this is actually a really cool program for you. Entrepreneurship is kind of the big focus here. And so there's a lot of creativity and problem solving that goes into that, and certainly don't need to be a business major to be in this program. And I know that sounds redundant, but I do want to drive that point home is that all of these programs are open to all majors, and we would invite you to think outside the box and find a program that maybe is complementary to your major or that's even just different altogether, right? That's a totally valid way to approach these the program preference forms to think about just what interests you, and kind of go from there. So, like I said, lots more information on our websites, and you can also reach out to us and we can give you lots more info on each of these individual programs. All right. I feel like I've been talking so much, so I'm really excited to actually be able to turn it over a little bit here to a few of our current students who we're really, really excited to have. And so I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen and invite our three student panelists to join us. Yay, there they are. Awesome. And so, really grateful to the three of you for joining us tonight as folks who are scholars, alumni, or current scholar students. I think you have a lot of great wisdom to offer about the student experience. And so, yeah, happy to have you on. Maybe we start with some introductions. So I'll invite you all, and we can go in alphabetical order because that's also how you're appearing on my screen, and that can make it easier. Just some quick intros, name and pronouns, year, major, and then your scholars program.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. And also for those of you who have already accepted, congratulations. My name is Abigail Bolsick. My pronouns are she, her. I'm currently a junior. I'm on a dual degree pathway for psychology and public health science. I'm also pre-PA, and I am a public leadership alum.
Hi, my name is Laura. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior studying computer science with an upper level concentration in public policy, and I'm an alum of Science of Global Change.
Hi everyone, I'm Nishka. I'm Nishka Sharma. I use she, her pronouns. I am currently a freshman studying business management and information systems, and I am going to be adding the M-Law minor in the fall, which I'm super excited about. And I am a part of the Justice and Legal Thought Scholars Program.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. So my first question, and I have a few questions here that we'll run through, and then I know we got questions coming into the Q&A box as well. But my first question for you all, if you could share, what have you enjoyed the most about your time in College Park Scholars?
Sure, I can start us off. I think that there are opportunities for joining scholars in general, friends, a sense of belonging, networking, on-campus activities. But more than that, scholars gives you the opportunity to make tangible change, to do things in the community and really make a difference regardless of your program. This like kind of experiential learning and being able to see the change that I'm making in the community locally and beyond has really provided me with a sense of purpose throughout my academic career, which has been shaping to my time at UMD. And then in public leadership specifically, I was definitely able to practice group work, communication, and public speaking skills, which helped me bloom in later years of my academic career. by providing you the safe space to practice all of these things. And it's also skills that they're going to be essential to my future career as part of a healthcare team. So to be able to carry that with me throughout the rest of my education was really helpful.
I can go ahead and share my experience as well. I've really enjoyed all the lasting friendships and connections that I've made through Scholars, just like Abigail was saying. Being able to be a part of a live and learn community with my peers has really established and built friendships that I wouldn't have made otherwise in other classes. Like Ben mentioned, when we had those initial events like the Scholars Under the Lights and the Service Day, I have just such fond memories from that. And I've made my closest friends here at UMD just being a freshman through my Scholars program. So I think those lasting friendships really do mean a lot.
For me, scholars helped me acclimate to campus a lot easier. I'm not sure about you, but I'm an out-of-state student from Fremont, California, so I knew nothing about Maryland or UMD when I came here. But being part of scholars, which is especially a smaller community, but then the larger community that is UMD, helped me feel more comfortable and get to know campus in a slower and more controlled manner.
All right, great. Thank you all for sharing. So the next question, sort of similar, but I'm curious, what do you think are the unique benefits of participation in your individual scholars program?
Sure. So in public leadership, I kind of got into it with my previous response, but I'll elaborate a little bit more. Public leadership is a great opportunity, whether you're on one side of the spectrum and you are really, really shy and you don't love speaking in front of people, or if you're like me and you're very extroverted and you like speaking in front of people, everybody is welcome. And it was such a great opportunity to learn more about talking in front of people. And not only that, but also working in groups and just communication in general. College is all about communication and networking and meeting people. And it really gave me a great basis to kind of start that process and put myself out there. It also was so helpful to begin to learn these skills and learn the importance of these skills as I progressed through my academic career. And as I mentioned, these are all things that I would take with me. Well, I will be taking with me into my pre-PA career. So once more, just to reiterate, having that foundation, having that information has been so beneficial for me. And a lot of the activities that we did in PL, if I can get into them a little bit later for another question, I will. But they were really fun and they surprised me. One of them was Brief Your Boss. We did a grant making process. So if I could talk about that, I would love to. Just really cool opportunities that I didn't think that I'd be able to do otherwise.
Yeah, I think for me, being a part of Justice and Legal Thought, JLT, we get so many different guest speakers who come in during our classes, but also as a part of like different events. And we get to speak with them and network with them, which is very beneficial. And like being a freshman, I think this has already helped me like start like leveraging what I want to do and like exploring my passion deeper. And we also get to take like distinct courses, and I'm taking like M-Law courses and colloquiums to enhance my knowledge about law while also pursuing my major in business. So I'm able to do both, which I really, really enjoy. And also, like this semester, we're doing a colloquium course on food justice. So very just like unique, tailored courses, which you wouldn't be able to find like elsewhere through the scholars program. So I really enjoy that.
So one benefit of SGC is that you learn a lot about the mechanics of science. So for the first semester, we talked a lot about how science actually works. And this is something new because although a lot of people in this program are probably STEM majors or science adjacent, they probably haven't thought that much about the actual mechanics of science, and learning that's important for work in a science field.
Awesome. Thank you all. So I want to pivot a little bit here. The students who are on the call are super excited right now because they just got admitted to the University of Maryland. They got a lot of different things to consider. We're hoping that they fill out that program preference form. And so I'm curious if you can talk for just a minute about how you approached that program preference form, if you can go back in time a little bit, and if there was anything that you would have done differently, feel free to share that.
I remember being on this exact call. I remember sitting there with my parents and reading through all of the Q&A and looking at the student panelists who were on my call and seeing how excited they were. And it made me so excited. So I was considering what would fit my major the best. I knew I wanted to add on global public health. I knew I wanted to be pre-PA. And so my first thought, my top preference was going to be global public health. Obviously, I ended up in public leadership, but I loved it. And I realized it was okay that it didn't align directly with my major. I found ways that PL connects to both my passions, such as public speaking and leadership and service, which is something that I did a lot in high school, as well as ways that it relates back to my pre-PA pathway. As a PA, I'll always be working in a team of other healthcare professionals. So to be able to have skills to be a leader when necessary and to follow good leadership when necessary is very applicable. I'm sure I would have loved global public health as well, but PL became my home. And it was like a breath of fresh air to have some of my PL classes in my very heavy science courses. I also came in with 60 credits, so I jumped over some of the gen ed courses straight into some of those science classes. And the PL program, I always look forward to going to colloquium, I look forward to going to class. I really enjoyed having it be something a little bit separate than what my other path was. And I thought that I got more out of it because of that.
Yeah, similar to Abigail, when I was looking at the program preference form, I saw 3 programs that I was very interested in. Now having a choice between 13 programs, like yes, that's definitely hard to choose like one you distinctly like, but each of them will give you such a unique opportunity to learn and grow. So no matter which one you're a part of, you're still gonna enjoy it. I guarantee that. So the 3 I was interested in were justice and legal thought, public leadership, and business society and the economy. When it came to deciding, I realized that I was already majoring in the business realm, like as business management information systems. So I did want to try something different because I also had a internship as a legal intern my senior year of high school. And I thought that being a part of the justice and legal thought program would help like further my interest in law. And it has done that through this program, which I'm going to be adding that MLaw minor very soon. And I'm so excited for that. But yeah, so looking back, I wouldn't change a thing for like my preference. I'm very happy with what I chose. It really helped me explore my passion in law while also majoring in business, and being able to do 2 things is really cool, especially like just starting out in college and being able to explore 2 things at once. I think it's a really great opportunity.
So similarly to, I believe both of you, I wasn't placed in the program I put in first, which was Science, Technology, and Society, which I think I chose entirely because there was technology in the name. But I feel like I've really enjoyed my time in SGC, and I really wouldn't change anything about that.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing and sort of emphasizing that there are so many great programs, right? And you might think that one is your top preference and you might get placed in another and you find out, wait, this one's actually great. And so probably reassuring for folks to hear that. And so I think one more question, and then we'll take a look at the Q&A box as well, because I know we've got some stuff in there. Yeah, so I think you all have named, you can look back and remember when you were in the shoes of the students who are logged on as attendees tonight. One piece of advice that you would share with those prospective students.
Sure. Other than to fill out your program preference form, which is very important, I would strongly encourage all of you to keep an open mind. At the end of the day, college is going to be what you make of it, and Scholars gives you the tools and opportunities to make so much of it. You can take the advantage of the living learning communities and make great friends in the first couple of weeks. You can rely on your program directors for help and resources. I still talk to my program director. Sometimes I show up to her office just to catch up. And you can count on your Scholars program to keep you updated on campus events as you transition into college. So again, make the most of it and don't ever stop making the most of it. I didn't, and these have been some of the best years of my life. I love college, and I hope that you'll love it here at UMD as well as a part of Scholars.
Yeah, my biggest piece of advice for prospective students would be to really just branch out and try something new. Before going to college, I knew I was interested in business, but I also developed a newfound interest for law. So selecting a program that was out of my comfort zone and out of my interest initially really helped me build my path, and I know like kind of what I want to do now exiting college. And even if you aren't sure what you want to do, as of right now, each scholars program will give you such a great opportunity for learning, making friends, making connections with staff, networking. You're going to get so many great opportunities being a part of scholars. And yes, fill out that program preference form. It's non-binding and it's a great opportunity. So yeah, thank you.
So one piece of advice I would give is that don't limit yourself. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't get into the program that I put as my first choice, but I didn't let that stop me from enjoying the time the program I was placed in nonetheless. I'd also quickly scrolling over some of the Q&A questions. I know a lot of you are worried about how scholars will affect your other courses, and I would say that it's completely manageable and scholars is 100% worth it, and it adds to your college experience.
Awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing your wisdom and your experiences. It's much appreciated. And so a couple of things that I'll mention now. I know we've got lots of questions coming into the Q&A box. I am seeing some questions about housing, and so I'll throw one more question to the student panelists if you all don't mind, because we haven't touched a lot about this, and then I'll probably answer some of the logistical pieces. I'm curious what it's like if you lived in Cambridge community, what that was like, and just sort of your reflections on living on campus.
Yeah, I also saw a couple questions about roommates related stuff. I know that it's encouraged that you find somebody in, your program, scholars. My roommate was from Science, Technology, and Society, so she was also in scholars. I still live with her. She's literally my best friend. I love her so much. We lived in Cumberland on the fourth floor, I believe. And it was great. It's a college dorm room. And we made it cute and we hung a bunch of stuff up on the walls. And I found that my living situation didn't impact anything other than made me really close to my other scholars who were living on the same floor. We had a lounge on our floor, and I would walk by and I would see people in my classes like sitting and studying, and I would be like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And we would sit and study together. So there's a really big sense of community in the living learning program, and I think that by living in the scholars dorms, you're really taking advantage of that. So I would strongly, strongly encourage that.
So I am currently actually living in the dorm since I'm a freshman. I'm living in Cambridge currently. So usually the JLT, the Justice and Legal Thought students, live in Cumberland. However, my roommate's in the Business Society and Economy program, so we live in Cambridge. However, that doesn't I'm still able to make these connections with my friends. We'll just go straight to the Y, which is the Yahantamitsi Dining Hall, which is so close to where we live. It is literally a 4-minute walk. It's so convenient if you ever just want to go grab a snack or grab lunch with one of your friends. So that's one great thing about it. And then another thing is the Cambridge Community Center is right in the center of all this where the scholars live. And I actually had a lot of my classes there first semester, which saved me such a walk. It would be right there, and I had like my English class there and my scholars class there. And again, it's very effective and a great place to be because it's so close. Another thing is, like Abigail was saying, the study lounges. I found my best study spot to actually be in the basement of Cambridge lounges. There's about like 10 lounges there. And whether that be studying for a math test or preparing for my communication speech, I just would go in the basement. Like there's an individual study room where I can really focus, and I've noticed how well I study there. And there's also group study rooms. So if you want to study with your friends and, do things together. So there's so many great opportunities about living in the Cambridge Community Center, and I could go on, but those are just a few of them from living there as of right now.
I would concur that the scholars dorms, which are around the Cambridge community, I was in Centerville, as a parent, I'll begin with C. It's in a great location because it's close to both the gym and the Yandemetsi Diner, which I visited frequently during my freshman and sophomore years. My floor didn't have a lounge, but I would say that being around other people who are in the same program helps, and you get to know people. Anecdotally, a lot of people in my program would just frequently talk on my floor, so you can make a lot of friends because you're literally living together.
I'd also just like to really quickly add, it's also close to the campus farm, and sometimes you can go pet the cows. That was a huge plus for me because I'd be stressed about, like, oh, I have an exam next week, I gotta study. You can just go pet the cows. It was great.
I love that. We don't talk about the farm enough as a as a point of interest on our campus. It's really cool. Um, well, I want to thank the three of you so much for sharing your experiences and your wisdom. And I know that the folks on who are logged on tonight are very appreciative as well. So yeah, uh, feel free to turn your cameras off and fade back into the abyss. Hang out if you want. And we will. I do want to. I think we have maybe a couple minutes. I want to talk about some questions that I'm seeing in the chat. There's a lot about housing, and so our ambassadors did a great job talking a little bit about that. Just to reiterate, so students who are in College Park Scholars, if you choose to live on campus, the housing that is designated for you is in the Cambridge community. You do still have to submit a housing and dining agreement. So that's a form that's submitted through Resident Life. So please make sure you do that by the May 1st deadline. If you do that, they will place you sort of by default into one of the residence halls in the Cambridge community. So that's something important to note. Additionally, folks are asking about roommates. There is a roommate finder portal that opens up in June, so you still got lots and lots of time, and that's facilitated through the Department of Resident Life as well, and they provide this opportunity for you to log on there, and you can sort of find other folks who are in Scholars who you might be compatible with, and then you can request each other as roommates. We highly encourage folks to room with other Scholars. If you want to request someone who's not in Scholars, that would be sort of an exception that you could sort of bring up with the Department of Resident Life. So those are some of the very frequently asked questions related to housing that I'm seeing in the chat. I'll open it up for a second. Other Scholars staff, are y'all seeing things in the chat that any of you want to shout out or that you want me to address before we wrap up with our last couple slides?
Well, we've gotten a few questions about honors versus scholars and the difference between the two programs, and can you do both? And so I don't know if you want to address that, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, really good question. And so just a quick overview. So honors and College Park Scholars are both living learning experiences that are offered here on campus. They're providing a lot of the same things as far as that shared experience of shared coursework and living together. One of the primary distinctions is that honors is looking really just exclusively at academics, right? And so that's the folks who they're inviting. They're looking primarily at academics on their application, and that is the focus once they get here to campus. Whereas College Park Scholars, we are a program for academically talented students, and we're also looking at students who are really well-rounded, right? And so we're looking for students who have that commitment to their communities, who are going above and beyond outside of the classroom. And so when we look at applications for students, we're looking a lot at not just the GPA and the test scores, but a lot of those co-curricular experiences and some of those essays that you all wrote as well, because we want to make sure that we have really well-rounded students who are going to be excited to be sort of change makers once they get here to campus. And the other thing I'll say is that in College Park Scholars, we have 13 programs. Honors, I think, has 8, so there's fewer. And all of our programs are 2-year programs, and they're all in the Cambridge community. There's not that same level of consistency across all of the different honors programs. So those are a couple of the distinctions. Certainly happy to explain more if folks have further questions about that. Any other things that I can quickly touch on before we jump back in and wrap things up?
There's an interesting question that one of our colleagues has pointed out to us in the chat about, is there any concern about these programs continuing or funding for research given the current political climate? I do appreciate that question. We all have a lot of concerns about a lot of things right now, but I am not concerned about these programs continuing. The University of Maryland has a very, very strong commitment to them. Scholars has been an important part of a significant improvement in the quality of the undergraduate experience and of the quality of students that the university is able to attract and retain over the last 30 years. So I think I feel confident in saying we're not going anywhere. Also, we don't rely particularly on federal funding. So that is not one of the things that is keeping me awake right now. There are other things.
Awesome. Thank you. So thank you all for all of these questions, and we'll keep chugging away at them a little bit in these final minutes. And also I'll talk about some opportunities where you can continue to engage with us and get those questions answered. I'm gonna jump back into the slide deck. I did note that some of you said you couldn't see the slides. I think it's because we tried to get a little too creative and cute with how we were doing the screen share layout, and it probably wasn't compatible for all devices. So apologies for that. Hopefully it works now. If not, I can assure you nothing on the slides is, deeply critical. You missed a lot of logos mainly. So I'll go ahead and jump back in. All right. Hopefully that's better for folks. So like I said, I did want to just sort of shout out some ways that you can continue to engage with us beyond tonight. We can see there's tons of questions and that makes a lot of sense. And if you didn't get your questions answered tonight, or if you actually just want more of a way to engage one-on-one with our staff and students, we've got a few really great opportunities next week. These Scholars Touch Points, these are actually drop-in sort of Zoom hours where you'll log on to Zoom. It won't be like this. It'll be a traditional Zoom call where, we can see you and you can talk to us and things like that. So definitely log on for one of these sessions if you want to continue to engage with us. And like I said, these are drop-in. So it's a full hour each of these. So you don't have to log in right at 7. Log in whenever you're able to chat with us a little bit, get your questions answered, and we'd love to meet you that way. Okay, so some important things to remember, important dates and things like that I want to highlight. You've heard a lot of references to this program preference form tonight, so I don't want to hammer it home too much. It is a big takeaway though, right? And so I want to reiterate that program preference form that you all should have access to on your TERPS application portal. You'll see it on your little checklist. That is how you reserve your space in College Park Scholars. So you'll go to that form. You'll indicate your top 4 preferences for scholars programs. And then from that, we place students into one of the 13 programs, and you'll be notified of that hopefully by February 28th. The reason we're hammering this home so much is because we know that a lot of you are still considering, lots of different colleges right now. You're not maybe committing yet, and that's totally valid. Submitting the program preference form does not have any sort of downside, right? All it does is reserve the spot for you in College Park Scholars if you decide to attend University of Maryland, right? So even if you're not sure where you're going to be in the fall, go ahead and submit that form. You have nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose. So that's a big takeaway I want to leave you all with. I also want to shout out our admitted student open houses. We've got 2 in-person ones and then a virtual one. Those admitted student open houses are put on by the university, so you'll get a chance to engage with the rest of campus, but we'll also have our own scholar-specific breakout sessions on each of those dates. And if you can't make those dates or if the spots fill up, we also have a variety of other options, these scholars in-person info sessions taking place during March and April. These will just be in the Cambridge community, so you'll get to see sort of where our students live and learn. And that's a great chance to hear more from us, meet more of our students, and continue to learn about College Park Scholars. And the last thing I'll say, we love to engage with you all. We love to answer your questions. So please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any other questions after tonight, which I'm sure you will, right? Like probably more questions arose tonight. So we really look forward to hearing from you via email, via phone. Come to campus, come visit with us. We really are excited to hopefully see you in the fall. And I want to thank you all for taking the time tonight, bearing through some of the technical things. We're really excited. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your night and a great weekend. Take care, everyone.